Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Healthline Channel for our today's health education. Now, today's topic is going to be on various examples of gender-based violence cases that have been witnessed all over the country, and not just in Kenya, but globally. Now, before we get to the topic, allow me to take this opportunity to thank all our viewers, all our subscribers for that very generous heart, and may God bless you abundantly. Secondly, let me also thank a few individuals who have tried to reach out to me. They came out my link. They came through my link and got my contact and reached out to me congratulating the work I'm doing and appreciating the work I'm doing, encouraging me to continue with the work of educating the public and creating awareness. Thank you so much, and may God bless you as well. Back to the topic. The topic is about examples of gender-based cases that are being realized in the country and even globally. So number one is called rape. And rape simply means forcefully having sexual intercourse with someone against their will, without any informed consent. That is what we call rape. And this can even occur among the married couple, where we have what we call the intimate partner violence. So someone you've been dating for a very long period of time, someone you've been married to for a very long period of time, actually rapes you, not knowing. And this has been happening in various families unnoticed. And one thing that you must know is that whenever sexual intercourse is to be done, it must be bilateral agreement, not unilateral agreement. And whenever one party denies the act, the other one should comply. But what is happening on the ground is completely different. And sometimes these things are so difficult to talk openly or to talk about them openly. Please, we have to speak it as it is, because gender-based violence is getting out of hand. And if we don't face it eye to eye, then we may not be able to take control of it. The second example is called defilement. And defilement is more or less the same as rape, but in this case is having sexual intercourse with a minor against their will. So a minor in Kenya is anyone who has not attained 18 years of age and above. So anyone who is below 18 years is called a minor. Having sexual intercourse or any form of sexual harassment is called a defilement in that case. Our third example of gender-based violence case is what we call manslaughter or man killing. Killing your fellow human being is condemnable globally. You should treat your fellow human being as yourself, love each other, live in love, peace, and unity. And therefore, whenever one kills his fellow human being, either because of sex, biological sex, or because that is gender I'm talking about, or because of race, what we call racism in other countries is called gender-based violence. And therefore, we should be very much vigilant wherever we are and who we interact with. Our fourth example is what I keep mentioning more frequently, called the female genital mutilation, abbreviated as FGM. Very common in some communities in the country. Education should reach out to them that this is a condemnable act that should not be allowed to thrive. Our next example is also very common, now that we are in a digital world, and it's called the cyber bullying in various social media platforms, whether in Twitter, whether you are in Facebook. The way you react to one's comment matters a lot. And this has been witnessed several occasions. You may do it unknowingly, but today now I'm enlightening you that that is part of the gender-based violence. The next example of a gender-based violence case is the verbal insult. And this is very, very common in our village setups, where people launch verbal insults against each other, fighting over land dispute, insulting one because maybe belongs to a different gender, or because maybe is an outcast to the community. That is a gender-based violence case. Our next example is called economic violence. That is economic deprivation, where you deprive one from taking economic charge. For example, denying a woman from taking control of his financial resources because she's a woman, and vice versa. Those are gender-based violence cases that are happening, and they are going unnoticed. Our next example is called favoritism, where one favors the other gender as opposed to the other. One may, as I gave an example later on, that a boss may want to have sexual intercourse with a female job seeker to favor her secure job. An employer favors a man for a particular job as opposed to a female. Those are gender-based violence cases. Sometimes it can even go political, where we find that two competitors, if one is a female, another one is a male, favoritism or favors go to the male gender as opposed to the female gender. That is gender-based violence. Our next example is the child trafficking case. This is also becoming so rampant in the country and also globally. This is a violation of child rights or children rights. And these children are also human beings because they are the future of a nation. Misbehaving or mistreating them through child trafficking is a serious offense, and that is a gender-based violence case. Our next example is harassment, and this can be in so many forms. It can be in the form of messages, and therefore we must keep watch of the kind of messages that we send through our social media platforms. It can be sexual harassment messages through WhatsApps, what we call sex texting, which is very dangerous. It can be an harassment to maybe your household members, those who have house helps. The way you mistreat a house help really matters a lot. They also have their right. And if you violate their right, that is gender-based violence case. Sometimes there are those who are very notorious in sending or circulating their nude pictures, naked pictures. They take photos while naked, videos while naked, and circulate in social media or send to someone against their will. That is a gender-based violence case. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are quite several examples that I may not mention at this time, but those are a few common ones. So now that you've known, keep watch and be very careful with all your moves. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for watching. Until